Welcome to the Peak Performance and Peak Satisfaction podcast with Master Executive Coach Sherry Gregoff. Sherry helps business people perform better, get rewarded handsomely, and actually enjoy their work. After having her own career turnaround, she now helps other high-powered business professionals experience the same. Join the movement to work differently.
Welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here. You may feel the pull towards New Year's resolutions this time of year, but also the statistics of how they are quickly discarded may be giving you pause. In this episode, I show you how to capitalize on that innermost desire to create a better year while avoiding the pitfalls that so often trip us up. Before we jump in, I want to shout out one of my clients who had a win in this area. Here is the quote from him. "I've recommitted to this program, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I know what it's like when I'm on that track and the years when I am not. I'm ready to do this again." This client has committed to habits he tested out last year. He recommitted to a program that he's done a few times before, but passed on in this previous year. He knows the benefits that comes from following this regimen, which is an investment in his health with support of doing it as a small community, even when it means feeling uncomfortable or missing old routines. He looked back at his track record and knows he is capable of doing it again. He had the data points to compare his results to the times where he broke from the regimen, so he made a decision, eyes wide open, to choose his path for the new year. I like to think there comes a time where we all must decide what future version of us we want to be. Do we want to be building towards a new way of working and living or not? If you are at an inflection point in any aspect of your career, health, and/or relationships, this episode is for you. My client is a beautiful example of making a data-driven decision and committing to change, eyes wide open, knowing that it will be hard, but it will be worth it. Similar victories are shared by all of my clients, and I have experienced it too in my own career turnaround. So let's hop to today's podcast content and get you on your way to experiencing this also. Many people have asked me my view recently on New Year's fresh starts. My short answer, the pull for a better work and life experience in the new year, is best honored. But in order for any setting of goals to be successful, we have to failure-proof them. We're about 1 week in on the new year, so it's a great time to reflect. How are you? If it's been right back to the same old grind, let me invite you to rebel, revolt, and work differently. What would you do in 2026 if you could do anything? No, seriously, what would you do? 1 week in, it may be painfully clear that our actual desires and dreams can get snuffed out by the world, the template set for us by others, our own self-doubt, and the tendency to just keep doing what we're doing. Having stoked a fire in my fireplace through most of the days over holiday vacation, I know this for sure. All you need is one smoking ember, and you can feed the flame to become a roaring fire again. Some of my clients start working with me and feel unsure of what it is that they really want next in their work and life. For a variety of reasons, we let the flame go out. If you feel like the fire in your belly hasn't been there in some time, let's find the ember. This time of year is the perfect time to set your vision so that you are inspired in your work and life again. I will also note that if you are encountering the Sunday scaries, dread when starting your work week or any work day, take it as a sign that there is a pull inside of you for something bigger, that somewhere you are living out of alignment. I call it a level of internal conflict, feeling dragged through your life against your will. Our culture tends to try to normalize this. We label it adulting. We start to characterize this life as a grind, something we have to do, and so we do it all against our will. Now, there's a misguided hypothesis that the real aim is a life of leisure. Something like sitting on a beach, drinking a cold beverage with a little umbrella in it. Like that's the ultimate, forevermore. If you think you would be satisfied with that, take a 2-week vacation. doing what you would be able to afford for the rest of time in a life of leisure. Even my kids were ready to get back to school after a long break. It's boredom. We are created to learn, to be challenged, to grow, and to interact. There's an alternate path to consider beyond pure leisure, and it's bigger than being on a lounge chair for the rest of time. We can create a 2026 that has us excited to get the day started, even on a Monday, even after a long vacation, even when you're so busy, even with an overloaded inbox, even with your Slack messages blowing up, even when your boss seems to be on your case, even when the office culture is pouring the haterade. In fact, any challenging circumstances are great reasons to set your vision for the year, not to skip on it. But before we launch into goal setting, we need to do a mindset check. This is a prerequisite for creating goals that you won't give up on by February. This is what usually dooms New Year's resolutions right here. The state you are in when you set your goals matters much. Oftentimes, we set resolutions or goals from a place of scarcity. If that language is new to you, I'll describe it a few ways so it lands. Our analyzing brain, the one scanning for problems and threats to keep us alive, usually offers up resolutions from insufficiency. We see our peer group reporting on their accomplishments and activities on social media, and our brain says we should be doing similar things to retain the level of success that we have. We might be bombarded with images in all media of svelte physiques, whether earned or through filters or injections or surgeries, and we may think we're out of shape and we really need to get a grip on our health and fitness. We may see glamorized and idealized characteristics of relationships around us. It's that time of year where Valentine's Day is approaching, and we'll be convinced that lavish gifts and public statements of commitment reflect and ensure a passionate love life. These are just examples of how we might be consuming information and images that pile on to our own self-doubts and reinforce the idea that we are missing something. Something has gone wrong in our career, health, and relationships such that we need fixing in order to be whole or to be okay. When we think about setting objectives for the new year from this perspective of desperation, our brain recognizes it squarely as something we should do to be okay. It's an obligation pressed onto us. We therefore are setting resolutions under duress. They of course then are doomed from the start. When our white-knuckling willpower to start in January eventually wears off, when things get hard, we tell ourselves it's not worth it, and we snap back to status quo. Here's the feelings to look out for as red flags: self-judgment, scarcity, insufficiency, being ultra-focused on the gap between your current state and your desired state. No matter the logic engaged, goal setting when feeling this way will, in the difficult moments, appear like pursuing said goals is going against your own will. They won't be authentic, and you won't truly own seeing them through to completion. You can spot this when you notice you are white-knuckling it, forcing something that you think you should be doing. Recently, I was watching a comedian who often makes self-effacing jokes about his appearance and being overweight. Part of his comedy routine repeated that when he experiences any type of setback, he tends to eat mindlessly until he can't feel that negative feeling anymore. He referenced a time period where he took better care of his health, and then he looked himself in the mirror and said, "Let's not do this anymore." While in the middle of some funny jokes, this was likely all too accurate and incredibly sad. It was like watching the clown who's crying on the inside. It rang funny mainly because of how accurate and relatable this predicament is. But it's these habits that create a vicious cycle of self-loathing, however subconscious that it might be. If you know that you want to evolve your perspective on and take different action in your work and life, don't look away or distract. Show up for yourself, and it will start a positive, virtuous cycle of honoring your word to yourself. The old fact pattern of New Year's resolutions being discarded by February may have us wanting to scrap any kind of personal goal setting. But I would offer that the inner pull for improvement that tends to intensify this time of year is innately a good one. A drive for personal and professional growth. It's one of our basic human needs. When we feel plateaued in our learning and growth, it can be painful and discouraging. My suggestion to you is not to tune out that inner whisper to improve yourself and your situation. Let's prevent you from the pitfalls that we discussed by shifting your perspective before you even begin contemplating goals. Self-sabotage and self-judgment is so 2025. Let's change the beat. Here is hack number 1. Find your sufficiency first. All the ways that you are not just okay, but more than okay in this moment. What are all the things and attributes that you're grateful for right now? How would you be more than fine even if you didn't pursue growth in this new year? We don't often direct our brain here, but let's do it now. Maybe jot down a list of all the things going right for you. Lessons learned, characteristics cultivated, experiences and the wisdom they created, and even how you are safe and secure in this moment. Here are some upgraded beliefs that I will offer to you. Consider how these could be true for you right now. There is nothing you need to do or solve for in this moment. There is no burden you need to hold. If something doesn't feel constructive or useful for moving forward to a better future for you, you can release it. In this way, when we turn to goals, it's how to make things even better than they are now. This quiets any sense of desperation. Goals are far more inviting and likely to live on if they are something we desire, rather than something we feel we should do out of obligation or desperation. Find your sufficiency first and set goals that would make your work and life even better than they are now. The second checkpoint is to vet whether these desires are really yours or just what's been programmed in you by exposure to others on social media or in traditional media. We may have automatic goals come to mind because it's what we hear everyone talking about or what we see others doing. These resolutions will be fraught with issues too because we don't truly want to achieve them. Goal setting without deep authenticity and personal reflection are just borrowed from others. They aren't yours. And so they're easy to disregard in a couple weeks when you realize you just don't care enough to pursue them when things get hard. For your goal setting, it's time to explore deeply what intentions you want to set for yourself, regardless of what others are doing or what opinions they may have about it. Instead of consulting with peers, consult with your future best self, working and living at your highest potential, leading your dream career and living your dream life. What would that version of you suggest to help you grow from your current state to that future? This reveals goals that are uniquely yours, based on your true desire. This drive becomes your big reason why you would stick with it or recommit to it even when it feels challenging. As you reflect on this consulting with the highest future version of you, I invite you to consider what you would like to create in your work and life next. What positive change you would like to see at the office and at home. Make good use of any time away from the office that you took at year end to now take a fresh look at what you want to happen next as you turn back to your daily routine. Here's how to tell if the goals you are contemplating are truly yours. When you think of them, you feel energized, compelled, strong, decisive, capable, equipped, and empowered. Then you know that they are truly important to you. You may feel like it's going to be hard, but that you are okay doing hard or less fun things to achieve that goal. You know it will be worth figuring out and seeing it through. You can see how different this is from a New Year's resolution subconsciously imposed on you. Instead, this is an opportunity to come into full alignment with the best version of you in the future, you at your highest potential, living your best life and working your dream career. We honor the urge. We gut check it to make sure we set it from the right mindset and that it is indeed ours, that it's what we truly authentically want. We confirm the pull towards this goal is from that highest version of ourselves, not the subconscious echo of standards that others try to apply to us. For more inspiration, we can look at all the research done with people who are at end of life and borrow their clarity and wisdom, as well as those at the end of a relationship or handling difficult medical diagnoses. It turns out all of them would advise us to manage our work more effectively now. Across multiple end-of-life studies and hospice accounts, the majority of people, roughly 60 to 80%, say that they wish they had managed their work and career differently. A strong majority express regret about working too much, letting work crowd out relationships, not setting boundaries, staying in roles that drain them and their health without any meaning. About 70% of people express some form of work-related regret. Regrets of inaction, not changing careers, not asking for flexibility, not pursuing meaningful work. Work-related regrets rank top 3, alongside relationships and health. They include prioritizing work over family, delaying life until things slow down, assuming there would be more time later. Let's look at what people specifically wish they had done differently at work. Among those expressing regret, the most common themes that they wish they did instead was to choose meaning over status, set stronger boundaries, ask for flexibility or to redesign their role, leave toxic work environments sooner, advocate for themselves in pay, scope, or promotion, integrate work with life instead of sacrificing life for work. Many regret waiting too long to change. When we look at research and how much our relationship with our work can be to blame for major health issues and relationship problems with adults, the stat is reported as between 50 and 70%. On the topic of health, 60 to 80% of doctor visits are for conditions with a stress component. Chronic work stress is one of the top contributors to hypertension, cardiovascular disease, autoimmune flare-ups, GI disorders, anxiety, depression, and insomnia. When patients are asked to identify their primary stressor, work is the number 1 or number 2 cause cited, typically accounting for 50 to 65% of cases. I know I have personally seen many instances of stress-related medical leaves and even as a reason to end a career. In marital therapy and family systems research, work stress is cited in 50 to 60% of serious relationship conflicts. Emotional depletion leading to less presence in relationships. Long hours leading to reduced connection. Chronic stress causing irritability and conflict spillover. On parenting and family dynamics among working parents, 65 to 75% report that work stress negatively affects their patience levels, their emotional availability for their children, and their consistency in parenting. Back to those at end of life, patients often connected overworking with missing their relationships, chronic stress with long-term illness, career misalignment with diminished joy and vitality. What's striking is this. People rarely say, work caused my illness. They say, I ignored the signals because of work. I stayed too long. I didn't think I had a choice. I thought I'd rebalance later. I share all of this research so that you can take this as your permission slip to start playing bigger and working and living differently than you have been. Let's flip to all the positive possible when we do just this. So I have to share, my business just had a birthday. 4 years ago, my business was born, and in that time, I have coached 72 clients across 22 companies in 12 industries, performing 23 different functions in 6 continents and 18 countries. It has been my honor and joy to coach these business professionals. I share this in today's episode because these stats are after having shelved this dream for 14 years. I studied entrepreneurship as one of my concentrations in my MBA, and it was always my dream. But I took an amazing opportunity in corporate when I graduated, and my career took off there. I tinkered and wondered when I might turn back to entrepreneurship, and no kidding, it was 14 years later. That's a long time for a dream on a shelf. Looking back, I think it all came together in this timing for good reason, and it feels right on time. But I would point out how easily a dream can get shelved, and without nurturing it, it will certainly die on the vine. What might be missing from this world because you dismissed sharing your talents in a particular way? What have you put on the back burner for later that you're ready to create now and ready to watch the impact that it has on others? The third checkpoint, now that you made sure the goals are yours and incorporated wisdom from those with broader perspective, is not to use goals against yourself. The entire point of setting a goal is to stretch yourself to be better than you are now, to create a work and life experience that's better than your current one. So watch out for using a goal against yourself. You may spot this as a wave of shame for not securing a promotion or a raise. Let's play out how using these goals to beat yourself up ends up impacting your situation. We tend to spin out, to get insular, to focus on ourselves. And the impact that we're making, how helpful we are to others, tanks. So if you miss a goal, learn the lesson from it. Use it as information to tweak your approach and go again. The quicker you can move on from disappointment and discouragement, the closer success on that goal will be. So, as you think about your goals this year and your work and life experience, I invite you to make a bold move right now. It's the perfect time of year to create some space for deeper goal setting. One bold step that you can take this week is to halt the production line in your work to a reasonable degree. Keep your promises to clients, but clear the decks of recurring meetings. Create free space in your head and in your day. Blame it on the start of the new calendar year. Think about what happens when we take maternity or paternity leave. We step away from our work and the business lives on for weeks, if not months. So don't look at yourself as bearing the burden of your entire business because it's simply not accurate. As you turn back to work after maybe some days off, carefully decide what you will take up the torch again on. Don't just turn up to everything the way you did before. If other people handled things for you in your absence, consider what should stay with others. With more free time, you can better distinguish what is the best use of your own time. You are a steward of your time and energy at work. In fact, your business is counting on you to manage it well. Being pulled into the weeds or supplementing what others have been hired to do themselves is not a good use of resources. So halt the assembly line and decide what you will change on purpose. Don't mindlessly follow your old calendar. Use this fresh perspective to make some calls on the most impactful use of your skills. For some more ideas, get specific about what's causing you to dread your workdays. Maybe you are tired of the daily grind to appease others, or the interpersonal conflict managing up, leading teams, and partnering horizontally. Maybe it's feeling behind in your day and in your career, or borderline burnout from overworking and work stress. Maybe it's imposter syndrome, feeling ill-equipped for the growing role, and discouraged from missing career goals and reward targets. Maybe it's a lack of inspiration, meaning, or fulfillment at work, and indecision on where to take your career next. All these areas are fertile ground for setting new goals and your vision for the new year. January is the perfect time to turn things around in your experience of work. Consider that only about 33% of employees say that they are thriving overall. It is possible for you to show up your best at work and in your personal life with deeply connected relationships and exceptional well-being. I'll point out that 100% of my clients who use this support for exactly that found my coaching to be useful, rating it world-class, the highest net promoter score available. If you don't feel like you're thriving in your work and life, this message is for you. An invitation to learn to work differently with my support and proven system. Let's make 2026 your best year yet together. Honor that strong urge to make this year better than the last. Don't listen to the naysayers who will tell you that drive will fade by the end of January. Don't look in the rear view at your personal track record with New Year's resolutions. Take my hand and let's go all in on making this your dream year together. In my experience, it's actually easier to pursue that big vision than it is to quit and let it die. With support and a proven system, you can give yourself the best chance of moving forward, not just by the end of year, but week after week. Imagine the incredible thrill of creating the work and life experience that you truly want, step by step with me. There is no greater high than setting a vision and then making it real. When we are working and living at our best, everyone around us benefits. Our businesses, clients, colleagues, and our families, friends, and communities. This is available to you. So we've decided you're not going to quiet that whisper inside of you, beckoning to your best year yet as foolish or dismiss it as impossible. Show yourself what's possible when you are all in and don't quit. It's okay to lean into the New Year's pull towards a fresh start and improvement, done from a place of desire rather than obligation, taking action aligned with what is truly important to you, and to feel the jolt of empowerment when we honor our word to ourselves. Coaching support can accelerate your progress and make your goals an inevitability. That's been my experience and that of my clients. Until next time.
Looking for support in applying the principles and strategies in today's episode? Sherry coaches clients one-on-one as their trusted confidant and advisor, helping each client create the work and life they had only dreamed of. To schedule your complimentary career strategy session, go to sherrygregoff.com/apply to book time with her today. It's one simple step that can change everything.